What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol, the Truth Spence. Get this, Errol Spence warns Canelo Alverez that at 175, he is pushing it. He said this, and I'm paraphrasing, but here is the actual statement. He says, I think Canelo Alverez should stay at 168. Him fighting Beterbiev or Bivol is not a good idea. I think he should stay at 168 to handle his business there rather than go to 175. That's pushing it. I don't think Canelo's weight or power, rather, moves up to 175, and I don't believe he hurt Bivol when he attempted to throw power shots at Bivol. And those are the words of Errol, the Truth Spence. And let me counterpunch. I think Errol, the Truth, is telling the truth. Because at 175, Canelo can punch. Okay. But his idea, and I think his game plan for Bivol, was to hit him with just blunt force power. And that was going to eventually break him down. Unfortunately, you can't do that in every weight class, especially when that is a weight class that you're a foreigner at. That's not your weight class. You don't really belong there. I think maybe the Kovalev fight maybe gave him too much confidence, maybe. Because, but you have to understand, this is the same Kovalev that got whooped and knocked out by another Alverez, and then Andre Ward, and then had that war with Yard. You know what I mean? So, yeah, this is that same Kovalev. So, I don't think maybe that gave him a false perception of what he thought 175 is. But honestly, I think he's pushing it, and I think he wants it at 175 because he knows if he loses again, he still is an undisputed champion at 168. I say, why not stay at 168? Bivol's not coming to 168 to fight you without those straps attached. You don't want him at 168. Case closed, okay? Because what would put a nail, maybe a second or third nail, in the coffin of Canelo Alverez is he went up there and fought Bivol again and lost and lost again. Okay, because then we'll start looking at guys that are undefeated, thanks to Floyd, Money Mayweather, because, Gervonta Tank Davis is dynamic. He is skillful, and he will become the face of boxing if Canelo Alverez loses another fight. Okay, unless it's a drawn-out, drug-out fight, and Canelo's not that type of fighter. I don't see him that type of fighter. Because at 168, fighting John Ryder, we expected to see more, and we did not. We saw a Canelo that no longer had the head movement, no longer was elusive, no longer was defensive-minded. He was just this plodding fighter that was looking for power shots, not really setup punches, not really the traps that he normally sets. We didn't see any of that. So him fighting Bivol at 175, if Bivol decides, okay, I'll fight you again at 175. I've already done that. I've already been there, but I'll fight you for the money. By the way, the money that you guys played around with me because of where I'm from, which I think is BS. But anyhow, and he beats Canelo again. I see if he fights Bivol again, people, Bivol will probably stop him this time based on what we saw. Based on what we saw, because that could be many factors. That could be Canelo Alverez, couldn't get up for the John Ryder fight. Maybe John Ryder wasn't that guy that sparked his interest that much to do what he normally does. I want to believe that. But at the end of the day, that shit probably isn't true. Okay, why? Because you got to put in another factor to counter that with the fact that he's supposed to had a wrist injury, right? He didn't have that then. That's supposed to have been corrected by having surgery. And we didn't see a lot of that, right? So we supposed to saw a better Canelo Alvarez because of that fact or that factor. Right? So we don't know which one because that's what people are telling us. But Errol Spence is right. Maybe Errol Spence is trying to set up a fight with him and Canelo Alvarez. Well, we know Errol Spence he's a big enough guy to move up. I think Errol Spence should move up if he doesn't fight Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? Then if he happens to beat Terrence Crawford, that would be undeniably the biggest fight that you could ever make. You know, an undisputed champion is Errol Spence because that's what he would become if he beat Terrence Crawford. I don't even talk like this a lot because I don't think he'll beat Terrence. But if he did beat Terrence, he would then be fighting another guy that's undisputed, that's a superstar, and they both have to figure it out. Not Jamal or Jermell. You know what I mean? No. I think Errol Spence is that guy, and he will be that guy if he beats Terrence Crawford. You know, especially a guy that far on the pound-for-pound rankings. Okay, no disrespect to Jermell Charlo, love him, but I don't think that I would like to see him fight Errol Spence. But Errol Spence at this point, I would probably favor him based on what I saw with Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? So, but I do agree with him. He does need to stay away from 175, please. And this is my statement and my plea to Canelo: stay away from Artur Beterbiev. Because one thing I've noticed about Canelo would not beat that man. In fact, Artur Beterbiev would not only stop him, but he would probably knock out Canelo. Eddie Reynoso would probably stop that fight simply because he wouldn't want to see his fighter, pretty much his stepson or his his little brother, take that type of punishment. It would be like Barrera getting stopped by his corner. And it was an emotional stoppage. It wasn't just like, hey, nah, you had enough, kid. No. As you guys can see, his corner man had to stop that fight because Manny Pacquiao was putting so much beating, so much damage, so much of a whooping on Barrera to the point it was like, no, stop this shit. I love this man that I'm training. This is my friend. This is my commandant. This is my whatever. Stop this. And that would probably be what will happen if Beterbiev fought Canelo. Okay? So, I wouldn't want to see that fight. And I do agree with Errol Spence. You guys tell me what you think of Errol Spence's plea or recommendations to Canelo Alvarez. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!